I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again, I pray the Lord that I wake. Now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again, I pray the Lord that I wake.
Welcome to Dinner with the Coaches. I am one of the hosts, Nadira Lewis, and I have my amazing co-host over here, Thomas T. Taylor III.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome.
How are you? Look, we are back and we're live.
Back by popular demand, boy. Hope everybody's doing well out there.
Definitely.
Let's get it.
Nice little break. If you are watching us, we're going to do a few little housekeeping before we get going. If you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new video. If you happen to be watching us via Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or TikTok, make sure you click like and share if you are blessed by the beautiful content that we bring every week. Thomas and I had a nice little break and back by popular demand. Do you want to tell everybody about our actual guest that we have today?
Yeah, of course. Again, hey, hope everybody's doing well out there. Hey, this is July. We in July already, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, this year is not waiting for anybody at all. Well, tonight's guest is a good friend of mine, Mr. Ryan Warwick, right? And he has a company called Think Outside the Box Media. And one of his specialties is photography, right? He got photos by Ryan. So this past weekend, he did a family reunion, a photo shoot. It was awesome. They kind of want to book him for the next family reunion, as well as he's the one who actually did the photos on my personal website. If you go to tailoryourdreams.com, those are his actual photos. So we just wanted to bring him on and, feature him and highlight his work, and also kind of talk about the importance of having photography tell a story about your business. So again, we got Mr. Ryan Warwick.
All right, and Ryan is no stranger to Dinner with the Coaches here. So we're excited to see him again and kind of just can't wait to dig into what he's doing. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and take this quick break, and we'll be back right after this. Make sure you call up your friends and tell them that our Dinner with the Coaches is on the air. So we'll see you after this.
Long before the beginning of all other beginnings, God is. In a burst of creative activity, God creates the world and everything in it. Humans are designed to live inside of this unique relationship, but they choose otherwise. The law of God is broken, and the heart of God is pierced. But the story isn't over. In the fullness of time, God gives his Son, born of a woman, born under the law. Jesus comes to seek and save those who are lost, wounded for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities. On the cross, God is in Christ, reconciling the world to himself. And with a loud cry, Jesus breathes his last. But the story isn't over. On the morning of the third day, the power of the living God erupts, breaking through death with the moment that will define all other moments. Perched at the edge of heaven, the angels stand in awe as one of their own rolls away the stone that's guarding the body of Jesus. As if anything can guard Jesus. He walks out of the tomb alive. He is victorious. He is conquering death and rendering the grave unnecessary. He is living and moving and breathe as only the risen Son of God can. But the story isn't over. We are, every one of us, searching and hoping and longing for life. It's a desire that's been deposited into our souls by the very same God who spoke it all into existence. And it's this exact life that the resurrection of Jesus invites us into. So bring your hopes, your regrets, your successes and your failures. Bring your doubts, your joys, your fears and your dreams. Be resolute and unwilling to settle for anything less than the abundant life of the risen King. Because truly, if the story isn't over, then what happens next might just change everything.
All right, and we are back.
Woohoo!
Dinner with the Coaches. Were you inspired by that?
That like watching a short film, boy. Like watching a short film.
Awesome. So, Thomas,
Good
you
stuff.
introduce our guests and tell us, and go ahead and start.
Yes. Well, this is a very good friend of mine. He's been on Dinner with the Coaches before, but tonight we kind of want to just highlight him by himself because he's been doing a lot of awesome things out there in the industry. One of his specialties is photography, right? So him and I actually did a whole photo shoot this weekend for a family reunion. So I just kind of wanted to capture some of that momentum and kind of share with the listening audience, like how important photography is when it comes to your business, right? So in this day of social media, business media, right now, all you really have is some sort of photography that really should capture the essence of what you're trying to say in terms of your message, right? It's vital. It's vital because people don't know you or they don't see you behind your social media, right? So like, for instance, he did the pictures on my website, tailoryourdreams.com, right? And when people go to my site, they look at those pictures like, ooh, who did your photography? Right? Because people are really looking for details, right? They're looking for all these everything. They don't say nothing, but they look at that because what that does is that kind of equals professionalism, right? They can see that, hey, hold on, this person put some time into those photos to say a clear message, right? Like it's not foggy, it's not, misconstrued. It's a clear message based upon photography. So I just want to take a few minutes this Sunday evening. Wow. Ooh, this is Sunday evening, boy. You see me, boy. Time. I'm all messed up, boy. Yeah. And just come on and highlight Ryan so he really can talk about the essence of true, photography that captures the essence of our words. Ryan?
All right. Good evening, everyone. But yeah, just like Thomas was saying, we got hired to do a gig a few months back to do this family reunion, and took the opportunity, to kind of get some ideas of going back and forth planning, and just trying to come up with something to come up with and to provide to the client. And sometimes you may have a client you may not be able to see the venue, and this is one of those clients, right? So I came overpacked, right? Thomas is there, so yeah, he helped me a lot with the equipment, bringing everything out there, and just being there and capturing the moments, and everyone was very, very thankful for us being there. And sidebar, in the morning I did it was like a group photo of the entire family. So it was around like 145 people.
Wow.
So that was a task, right? It rained that morning and we got like a 30-minute window. I pulled out my watch and like, hey, in about 30 minutes it's about to rain, so we need to figure something out, right? So, the guy who hired me, we went outside at the hotel, canvassed the area, and I so happened to see an empty lot, the parking garage that was, right across. And I was like, hey, let me go up here and see if I can look down and see, if I can get a good shot. Went up there, took a couple shots, came down, showed him. He's like, all right, I think that'll work. And 30 minutes later, went out there, took about several shots, and went home, made some edits, sent them a proof, and they loved it. And later on that evening is when Thomas had came out with me and did our thing. So that was. I was thankful for him to be there because it was people wrapped around the building basically to get some photos, right? So,
Thomas has that influence. I'm telling you, Thomas, boy, he has that influence.
Yeah, it was awesome, man.
That's powerful.
It was awesome. Yeah, that's good. So just think about that for a moment, right? Like that was a client, who had people that came from all over the states, right, all over the country. And converged in Atlanta. It was actually their 34th family reunion, right? So this family actually had some momentum. They started years back. They had a lot of different prominent people that were actually there in the audience, and they was able to go home with a caption and a picture of that event, right? So that's so vital, because sometimes from a business standpoint, we don't realize how important it is to capture a moment, right? Because when you capture that moment, it tells a story about the event, right? And so now when you kind of transition that to social media and to your business, right? What message are you trying to convey, and how is your photography capturing what you're trying to say? Because if people go to your website or your social media and they don't never meet you, right? What are your pictures saying about you, right? Because we all heard that pictures are worth 1,000 words, right? And that could be the determining factor, ladies and gentlemen, whether somebody does business with you or if they don't. You may not ever know that they was even visiting your site, or you were even in the running to actually have the ability to get a contract of some sort, right? So in terms of, Ron, I just kind of want you to talk on that aspect. Like, what goes into the mindset when you have a client and you're trying to capture their vision?
Yeah. So, I'll use you as an example, right? So, I knew where I would go with the shoot that we did for the pictures on the website. But so with a fresh client, like, Thomas never did anything as far as doing a photo shoot for him, I'm gonna ask questions. Like, what are you looking for? What type of shots, right? So he gave me what he was looking for. Then I added to that, right? He gave me, all the types of shots he wanted, all the styles. He brought props and stuff, that he wanted to use in this photo shoot. So I was like, all right, okay. And, wrote those down. And then when it came to, I was able to be creative with my lighting. I worked around what he wanted to, in regards to working with his props, right? So he had a watch, he had mics, he had pens, he had pen and pad. And I think, he brought a stool. So he had a couple of things that, we worked with. So that allowed me to be a little bit more creative and fitting around his style, if that makes sense. Right. So working with someone that I don't know is a little bit more difficult, because you're trying to, understand what they're now I'm speaking on actually photo shoots, right? So there's all types of photography. You got product photography, right? You could be just taking photos of like purses. That's easy. And then you got business, just taking shots of someone's business. But when you're doing something for like an actual individual or people, that's when you gotta know how to read people, as well as ask questions in regards to, some people, they might be quiet, and you got to keep probing to get them to kind of open up about what they like or what they want to have in their shoot. So it's just being able to communicate with various types of personalities. So that's the biggest thing is getting what the client needs, and also figuring out a way to bring your personal spin to that client. Just be creative, right? So,
all right, that's very important. That's very vital, because I can imagine people come with different ideas, or fantasies
stuff.
about what they want. Yeah.
Yeah, like, we can't do that, man. Like you saw
Yeah.
last night, this, not knowing how photography is with backgrounds, right? It's no one's fault. If you've never seen a background and you have had the opportunity to use a background or take a photo against the background, there's certain things you can and can't do. There's certain places where you got to stand according to where you have your flash, right? Your monolights. So, so certain size backgrounds can only hold a certain amount of people based upon, I don't want to get to the technical side, but it's very, very technical, right? So, if, as a photographer, what you can and can't do in those situations. So, best thing you can do is just be polite and be nice to the patrons and like, hey, we can't do that. I'll try to work around. We could take a few shots, but that I'm telling you something work, but I'll try to make it work. But that's usually on the fly. Like last night, we got something like studio shoot. You got more time and to really stage. But when you got a long line of people waiting, you kind of, hey, we got 3 shots and you got to keep them moving. It was a busy night, But
yeah.
A lot. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a little meeting about that, and talk about how we can improve and so
plan to review.
Yep. That's what it's about. You plan, execute, review, improve, and go on to the next. So
and this is business. What I mean? This is not personal. We're gonna have Nadira actually bring up my website, and then this is kind of on the fly, so we can kind of talk through, due to the fact that you are the creator of these photos. Let's see if you could kind of talk through our listening audience and kind of give it an example of what was going through your mind when you created that particular shot, when you created that particular pose. Because when you look at how the pictures were actually created, it actually tells a story, right? A philosopher, a thinker, a strategist, like all these different things, and again, those are things that visual, and most of us are visual, but it's also another form, ladies and gentlemen, of communication, right? So that's non-verbal communication, right? So those that are listening, just think about, your business or things that you're doing, right? How are you conveying to your listening audience non-verbal communication, right? And that's the importance of a good photographer, to be able to not only capture it, because when you physically take the picture, you're just capturing the moment, right? But then now, how do you take that moment and then make it pop, like make it come to life? So let's kind of let's talk about these pictures, right? So that first one, what was your mindset on capturing that?
The one with the black, with the tie, no jacket.
Yeah, with my hand on.
Yeah, so for those who don't know Thomas is very confident, very direct, and also respectful. I want to make it seem like he's a bully. He's not a bully, but he's very, very, like, when he speaks volumes, right? When he speaks, people pay attention.
Yes.
People stop and say, oh, who's that? So I wanted to capture, not just this shot, but all the shots I want to show that he, confidence, right? So going back to when I was saying about like this talking or probing, if there's certain traits that a client may have, I want to highlight that. So if you notice a lot of his shots, he's thinking. It looks like he's off thinking, he's pondering, he's contemplating, right? And with him writing, he always told me, hey man, nothing's gonna happen if you don't write it down. Make it plain, make it simple, write it down, and it's going whatever you write down, if it's a plan, whatever you write down is gonna come true. Right. So I'm glad he brought that pad that night, because that's something that I always do. Like, I got my notepad right here. You know what I mean? I never wrote anything down. So but yeah, so back to what we're talking about. So, and then the watch, he always talks about be ready instead of getting caught off guard getting ready. So if you're getting ready, nothing like you're not gonna make it. So if you always ready, you know, you always gonna be on time to execute. So there's certain things that me and him talked about. I made sure that he did certain poses. You know, so it's more so of our experience of knowing each other and the things that he's coached me about. You know, so I wanted certain things to be displayed, you know, about the things, you know, that we talked about. I'm pretty sure of other people he's coached, you know. So those 4 shots, it was just, you know, very, very important. And I'm glad he picked those shots because we took about 20 photos. So, yeah.
Wow.
I think he did an excellent job. When I was looking at his photos, they're like personality photos, like thinking, and it's so in line with who he is and what he represents as a visionary coach. You know, so it takes a lot of somebody who has a vision to be able to pull that out of somebody who is a visionary. You know, so that I thought when I saw those photos, I was like, wow, that was just talk about a coach being somebody that can, but a photographer that can actually capture what he's thinking in each picture. You can almost see exactly, even with his packages, you can see like, okay, you know, he's a coach that talks about clarity and strategy with the notebook. He's a strategist, you know, and he right here with the picture with the notebook and him writing is like he's thinking, you know, it says so much. And that was really amazing.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of want to bring him on, because I think sometimes from the business side, like what you're trying to do, like who do you have that's actually capturing those what moments. You can't say, those moments, because they're vital, right? Again, you may encounter people that you don't even know, but because they went to your website or they went to your social media and your pictures told a particular story that they can relate to. Nobody ever spoke a word, right? But you had the right picture, you had the right photographer to capture something that you was only thinking about, right? And we understand how powerful thoughts are, right? And sometimes we minimize that, right? So don't minimize the thought process that you actually have, but put yourself in a position where you can have a right photographer capture that particular moment, right? Like whatever it is, like especially if you have products, ladies and gentlemen, like if you're selling products, that's key, right? You definitely have to have somebody who can capture those products where you actually, again, won't even have an opportunity to say anything to them, but there's something about that product that picture can highlight, whether it be its texture, its definition. There's certain things that are highlighted that's the difference when you have a great photographer that actually can put those things into some sort of format where it tells a story, right? And especially on any type of website, right? You have the ability to kind of, say something and walk somebody through what you're feeling and what you're thinking, right?
Right. I have a question for you, Ryan. What is the weirdest photo shoot that you've ever had where somebody asked you to do something and you were like, huh? Like, I know you've had, as a photographer, you've had one of those moments.
Yeah. I've had some how can I say, some very adult requests. So yes, non PG related content. So yes, it was some that even videography. I do videography as well. So yeah, I have some very, very interesting requests. So some I've done, some I had to turn down. So yeah. Yeah, I don't think this audience is it should have to hear that. But other than weird stuff, probably I don't know, like paintball stuff, or like, no, I won't say paintball, like doing a photo shoot for a paint, like weird stuff that typically a camera wouldn't be at. No, I haven't experienced stuff like that. I haven't had really strange, like normal strange stuff. I had extreme strange stuff, which was what I mentioned, but yeah, I haven't had anything crazy so far.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What in terms of clients, in terms of strategy, have you had any clients who kind of pose a difficult strategy for you that kind of had to make you kind of stretch your talents and your ability to bring out their concepts?
Yeah. So I have the mindset of, if I haven't done something, I know I can do it, right? So because it's at the end of the day, you're just taking photos.
Okay.
Right. So one of the challenges was, when I started getting into event photography, was not owning a printer to do on-site printing. Right. So you got all types of printers that you can go buy, and you can, print a photo, but you can't touch those photos for a period of time. So I ended up calling another guy that's in the photography business, and I mentioned a particular printer that allows you to print, and immediately once it's done, you can actually touch the photo. But it's like an actual high quality photo, right? So when I purchased the printer, and this event was actually last year. They went on-site, photography at the event, and it was an anniversary party. And
it was a what?
Anniversary party.
Okay.
Anniversary party.
Yep.
And matter of fact, Thomas coached me through that whole process. Hey man, don't worry, man, you can do it, man. Just whatever you need, just go get it, and get it within a period of time where you can learn how to use it, and then you be prepared. Don't get it the day before, you try to figure out on site, right? So that's the whole thing about being ready. So but yeah, that whole thing was a challenge, because I never done on site printing. So, and that became actual addition to my business. That's something that that's very, very, very important now to at least let my clients know, hey, I also provide on-site printing. It takes about 20 seconds to print a photo.
And you actually can touch it right away too.
Yeah. It's dried because it's an English printer. So it's a very, very, very vital piece of my business now. So yeah,
that's awesome.
I also wanted to talk about when we get a chance. I know Thomas probably has a few more things he wants to ask you, but we're going to take a quick commercial break. But before we do that, and maybe you can answer it after the break, this new thing with the spinning. The spinning. I want to know more about that. And I'm telling you, I get every event that I see on Facebook, everywhere you go, everybody's excited to get on top. I don't know what you call it, but I just know it has people like excited just to be dancing and taking photos. So I want you to talk to us a little bit more about that and how that relates to your photography business. But we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah, hold on. And also to add to that, when we come back, I want you to give people, because we have a lot of people that's out there watching and listening, I want you to give them some tips on what tools that they can utilize, that they can purchase, cameras, lighting, things that you recommend. Whereas, if they don't have the ability to hire, a personal photographer, they still can capture it based upon the equipment, because you have great equipment. So maybe we can give our listening audience some tips on cameras, lighting, backdrop, and things of that nature. Okay?
All right. Yep.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll be right back after this. Do you need a coach? Do you need clarity, strategy, and mindset and execution help? Make sure you reach out to Thomas and I at Dinner with the Coaches on Facebook, and we'll be glad to help you. here with Dinner with the Coaches with our special guest, Ryan Warwick. So, Thomas.
Yes.
Hey, what do? We go deeper.
Go deeper, yeah. Just one level deeper. One level deeper. So, hey, first we want to talk about the what is your thought process with the 360 camera going around you?
Mhm.
It seems like it's a franchise of some sort because it's all over the country, phenomenon. So I know
Yeah.
it just can't be, one person doing it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So no. So it's a 360. It's a base that you stand on, and then there's it's a motorized arm that swings around, and you can control it through like an iPad, and you can put a camera on there to record. So it's for video. So you can, people get on there. I think up to 4 people can get on it, and they can pose, hold signs. And matter of fact, the event that we did last night that had one of those, right? So
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say, because you said you mentioned about a franchise. I wouldn't say it's a franchise as a whole because there's different manufacturers who makes those 360 base, right? But there are probably, I'm pretty sure there's large companies that incorporate like photography or multimedia companies incorporate that part of their business, and since they already have a market, it's easy for them to roll that out versus someone like me. I don't. This is me by myself, so it would just be me working versus you got a fleet of trucks that got all those things in there riding around the city of Atlanta advertising. So yeah, I think the one we saw, I think they actually have several trucks. I've seen those before.
Yeah.
I've seen them before. Yeah, and I've seen others as well. So I think it's a nice thing to have at events. It's a nice trend. I don't know, anything too much about it. I did look into it. It's not something that I want to get into. Yeah. Unless I don't know. I might call some people who I know who actually has one and see how it's working for them. But it's not something that I'm looking to get into.
But you're not the first person that I really can appreciate when a business owner can know what their particular niche is and not try to reach out to do master of all trades, right? I've talked to another guy that was into media, and I had mentioned some things that I saw other photographers do, and he said, that's nice. Said the same thing that you did. Oh, that's nice, but that's not really what I want to get into. And that is like so awesome because not all money is green, and not all money is your money. And so it's good when you can stay in a particular arena, especially with whatever they have and get it, and everybody can still make money and everybody can do what they love and not feel intimidated that they're not keeping up with every single thing, because photography can be broad, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah. So I started out with videography, and then Thomas say, man, why you don't take no photos, man? You take some nice photos. Hey man, that's not something I want to get into. So but I kept pushing, trying different things, and then I was like, let me try it out. Let me buy some some basic equipment to see where this takes me, and then I end up getting into it more and more and start buying more and more equipment. So that was in the span of almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
Because I avoid anyone who would mention anything about doing a photo shoot or taking photos. No, that's just not what I do. I strictly do video. All right. So, but they're the same. They're one and the same, meaning that how you set your camera up, how you expose your shots, how you just do various things to a camera and your subjects. It's almost the same in regards to the technical stuff. So it's like, well, why not? The stuff that I apply in video, I can apply to photos. So, and what's crazy is I was telling Thomas a while back is that when I was younger, like in middle school, that was my thing, just taking photos of people. So it's kind of interesting that it comes back full circle. Something that I was always avoiding with my business is something that's my bread and butter now, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Your bread and a whole lot of butter. Now that you mentioned that though, see, you just took this whole thing to a different level. Now I'm not gonna go too long, but I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. you know, and I coached Ryan, right? So what was happening was Ryan was real comfortable with his skills because he acquired the ability to do videography. It was a skill he acquired. And what I coached him on was his natural gifts, right? Which was photography. Why? Because Ryan has a particular gift in eye and vision coordination of a scene or of a shot, right? That most people can't see, right? So Ryan sees things on how the output is going to be, right? Look at that. On how the output is going to be. And I showed him how that's a gift. Like everybody cannot do that. And he does it effortlessly, right? He just does it like, oh, that's no big deal, but it is. So now he's starting to see, because he's gaining some momentum, is if I lean into my gifts, like things that I can do naturally, he sees that it will make room for you, right? You see those long dreads he had, it'll make room for you, right? So that's another thing that, you know, from a coaching standpoint, right? When you're talking to individuals, are you talking to them from a standpoint of what they're skilled in or what they're gifted in, right? Because they can be diametrically opposed. They could be opposite. And sometimes people don't really understand the two and realize how they can lean into one and still get to the destination that they thought their skills could only take them, right? Because they're just not so confident in their gifts. Well, why is that? Because your gifts hasn't been demonstrated, right? Because your gifts are subject to ridicule, right? Your gifts are subject to somebody saying something negative about it. And now you take it personal because now you feel like they're attacking you versus just something that you do relative to your skills. You don't care about that, what they say. You don't care. But something that you hold dear to you, ooh, if they say something that's not favorable, you feel a funny kind of way. Ryan and I had a conversation when I first started doing Facebook Lives. And my first one, a lot of people was giving me, you know, different types of feedback, shall I say, right? And I told Ryan, and boy, he was a little bit upset. He's like, man, how can they say that? That was your first one. T, man, like, I was like, whoa, hold on, calm down, man, calm down. They know it was my first Facebook Live, right? They know that, right? I don't got to tell them that. They know that, right? But Ryan, if you can't take this is not for you, man. You just don't do it, right? Because once you go and you feel confident about your gifts, hey, man, people are going to say all types of stuff about you. It's okay. But for the most part, really, like those that are close to you, it's really out of love, right? Sometimes people don't know how to articulate it, but it's really out of love, right? And you're going to have, you know, small percent that are just haters. That's just what they do. You know what I mean? That just comes with it. But really, man, but now, you know, 18 months later, I'm doing Facebook Lives like, ooh.
And most people
this thing going.
Most people don't understand that there's a difference between feedback and criticism. And when people give feedback, sometimes it's not a direct insult against you. Sometimes it could be feedback towards whatever it is. Like when I do different business services and somebody say, well, I really don't like that. They're not saying they don't like me. They may not like a particular thing that I've done. And it may not be because you're a bad business person. I don't like what you do and how you do that. They want to be able to work with you to be able to bring out whatever it is that they need. So sometimes you have to do it a couple of times in order to perfect it so that you guys can be on the same page as far as vision is concerned. So I think feedback is really great, especially when you're servicing. We're in a service industry. So when we're in a service industry, we have to make sure that we're listening to what our clients' needs are. And being able to bring it and be able to take whatever our gifts or talents is and make sure that we're conveying the message that they want us to convey through photography or whatever other services that you have.
Yeah, 100%. You know, that's why I talked about that this morning on my Facebook Live about the 3 C's, right? Commitment, consistency, and culture, right? So, you know, when you're doing your business, Ryan, you know, one thing that I always talk to you about is why. Because your why has to anchor you, right? Why? Because when the storms of life comes, right, it just sways you. It don't knock you over, right? The only thing that can stop you is you. The only reason why you get knocked over is because you're not standing on why you're doing it, right? And you can't do it because it sounds good, it's cool, it's hip. A lot of other people are doing it because that's not gonna sustain life. It's not gonna sustain the storm, right? And that's why I coach you from the vantage point of when you lock in to why you're doing something, and then you tap into the gifts that your creator has given you, and you lean into that, guess what? There's absolutely nothing that can stop you. Nothing, right? It just sounds so unorthodox because you're not hearing this from a lot of people. A lot of people they're not talking about this. They're really not, because they haven't figured this out yet, right? Right. So I was like, hey, can I coach you? Like, yeah, Teague, yeah. So that's the pull. And now what you're experiencing, which is the reason why I want you to come on today, is you're experiencing momentum. You're experiencing success, right? From a verbal standpoint, and then from a monetary standpoint, you're like, ooh, they're gonna pay me? Like, they're gonna pay me this number? Yeah, if that's the number you say, that's what they're gonna pay. You're like, ooh, okay. How many more of these can I do? As many as you want. For somebody who just wanted to do video. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, hey, so let's give the people a little bit more. Let's go a little bit deeper and just kind of give them some substance on some tools, right? Some cameras, like what do you kind of recommend, things of that nature, where they can kind of, if they don't have the ability to hire a professional, at least they can have some artillery to go ahead and kind of get them started. Ryan?
Right. So, yeah. So, of course, you're going to need a camera. So you're going to need, nowadays, you don't have to get a DSLR, which is, your typical where you would see someone like at sports games or events. Any somewhere that has like a red carpet, you see someone with a huge photo camera, that's a DSLR, right? So, you can get something that's called a mirrorless camera, which is a little bit cheaper, and they actually perform mirrorless. Mirrorless. Yeah, it's called mirrorless. Yeah, mirrorless.
Wow. Mirrorless.
Yep. And they take same photos. You can add your flash accessories. So a flash is something, of course, when you take a photo, you have a light that flash, right? So I have, I think, 4 flashes. 3 are the same, and 1 is like an on-camera flash. The other 3 are off-camera flashes. So those just, allows you to light your subject, light rooms, or whatever the object is or subject that you're trying to light. That's what you need the flash for, as well as your background, foreground, whatever, you can be creative with flash. So flash photography. Of course, you're gonna need your basic stuff that makes the camera work, right? So they got packages that comes with, memory card and a bag. But to just really get started on basic stuff, if you're doing almost anything, because you don't need a high-end camera. That's what a lot of people go wrong with. Oh, I have to go out and spend $5,000 just on a camera. I still got to go buy a lens. You can buy a cheap kit from Best Buy, QVC if you're someone who likes to make payments on something, even Amazon, right? You can go in there and probably spend about $400 on a kit. And the kit will entail the things you need to take a photo. Now, if you want like lighting, like flash, then you're gonna have to spend just a little bit more. And there's third-party vendors that makes those accessories as well. That makes for your camera. So I'm a Canon guy, so all my stuff is by Canon.
Okay.
Right. So you got other manufacturers like Sony, Panasonic, Olympus. There's all types of cameras out there. So starting out, I wouldn't spend no more than, for everything, about, I would say $600.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Because it's not for everybody. Some people, they're okay with just taking photos without a flash.
iPhone industry nowadays. iPhone has incorporated so many different apps to where, I didn't even know all the difference in what you're saying as far as the cameras and the lighting and stuff like that. because I mean, but I guess it depends on what, especially if you're using it for business, you know, and you want to have a more professional look, then you would need.
Yeah, and I would highly recommend YouTube for education as well as research. You know, beginner, whatever it is, you know, beginner, then what you're looking for. So beginner photography camera, beginner flash photography accessories. Like, do I go with on-camera flash or off-camera flash? There's all types of free videos that's out there, and I've been challenged to start making those videos because I've been doing multimedia per se for over a decade, right? So, you know, there's other creators that's out there that has a YouTube channel. So why don't, you know, so why not? So I've been thinking about it. So it's something that I have on my to-do list to tackle. But yeah, YouTube is very helpful in regards to, that's where I get all my information from too. Like the flashes that I just bought, it's another photographer that I follow on social media that uses these flashes. Saw what he was using, Googled it, did a little research, went on YouTube, found a couple of review videos, made my purchase. And these are probably the best things I bought because they're wireless, so I don't have to plug them into the wall. They're battery operated, so I can take them outside. I could travel with them. So that's something that we want to look for as well. Something that's portable. If you're starting out, you want to be able to take your gear with you. You don't want to be tied up to a wall and you're like, oh, spent all this money on something. Like, there's nothing wrong with having equipment that you have to be powered by, you know, AC, right? AC power. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I like to be portable. So I like to be able to take my equipment outside if I need it, right? So those things that I look into, portable. But yeah, it can get expensive. This equipment can get expensive. So I would say start out something as a kit because, like I said, if it's not for you, you just spend a lot of money and you can still keep that equipment to take photos of your family, friends, and you know, that's probably how it's probably going to start out for some people. You know, doing landscape photography, just taking pictures of buildings, vacations, and then going to actually start to dial in with their settings, and you know, because it's like a photography camera has so many settings, so many things, so many buttons. So it's going to take time to get into the thing, right? So, and then there's also, I just found out there's certain counties, and depending on where you at, like I know in Georgia, like Gwinnett County as well as Cobb County, they have these days where they do free classes you can attend.
Oh yeah.
They got like photography classes, they got computer classes, they got photo editing. So they got different classes that's actually free. So if you're not the person who can learn by watching videos, you got to be like in the classroom setting. Hey, check with your county and see what they're offering. You know,
that's good information.
Yeah. Also, they got like Eventbrite, or there's also like social apps that's like for like meetups and stuff, or different groups that there's people who go out. You can do like a 3-day course for like $50, $25, take a beginner's photography course, right? So, yeah. So all types of things that's out there.
So what are some of the brands of the lighting? Like that's pretty reasonable brand wise.
The cheap route, I'll say Godox, Godox.
Okay.
They make their stuff or the price point is cheap, but they make the quality is good. Like a lot of people use Godox. Okay. I didn't start there because I'm a little particular in what I spend my money on. So I just went ahead and went the Westcott route. So they make some good lights.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, they're about Godox got some lights that's around the same price point as lights I got that I'm talking about. I went with Westcott because of their wireless trigger is universal. So that's one thing about your off-camera lights. Everyone except for Westcott, to my knowledge, is universal. So if you have a Canon camera, you have to get a Canon flash trigger to get it to work for that camera. Got a Sony, same thing. So if for whatever reason you start out with Sony, you end up like a Nikon. with Westcott, there's settings on the flash trigger. You can just change what camera you're using, and it works. So I was gonna go with a whole expensive brand that's would cost way more than Westcott, but you can only use that flash trigger with that brand. So you got to be mindful of that as well. But like I said, start out with beginner, and pretty much, if you buy Olympus, you're gonna look for Olympus accessories, right? So, and there's websites to Adorama and B&H Photo. Those are the two websites where I get all my equipment from.
Okay.
And also secondhand. Like I was telling Thomas, hey, I might go to a pawn shop and get me a couple backup cameras. I was in there buying some other stuff, and I was like, oh, they got DSLRs in here. Oh, I might come back and get me a couple just to have on standby, because technology fails. You don't want to be caught up when last night I brought 2 laptops, and my main laptop that does everything for me, that's automated, didn't want to work. So I have to use up my backup laptop. So I think it's very important, once you get to where you're operating and you have clients, and per se, when it comes to photography, have a backup camera, because if you're on a paid gig and your camera go out, what do you tell your client? They already probably gave you a deposit,
right?
You halfway in, and so yeah. But back to the question,
awesome.
Beginner stuff, I say get a kit set up that has everything you need out, ready to go in regards to taking a photo. Anything extra outside of that, which, lights like flash, that's extra. But most of those cameras come with a built-in flash. So it comes with a pop-up flash. And
yeah.
My camera's so old, it pop-up don't work no more. So it stopped working. So it's taking time to get a new one.
Need some help, huh? You need some help around you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What did you say to Dara when he was saying about Go Docs? You said something?
No. I was just going. I didn't actually statement.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that pawn shop is really good, because pawn shop, people are trading, really good stuff, quality cameras.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a camera for my son. My son's in school for film, and his thing is short films and stuff like that. And so sometimes he'll get to be a part of different groups where they're actually doing little short films. And so I bought him a camera from there. I was like, I don't even know what I'm buying, but apparently whatever I bought, it came with everything. It had all different types of flashes, and he was like, wow, this is a really good camera. I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know, I do all my production and stuff from, I don't use all the exquisite stuff. I found that, I've done all my production through the iPhone, all my camera quality stuff. And, I'm a big fan of the apps that are in the Apple store. So, but I am learning, because I do see a lot of bloggers and vloggers that are using cameras, and the quality is amazing. And I'm like, wow, it's like almost like looking at people in 3D when they're vlogging and stuff like that. So I'm definitely taking note, because I'm like, I need quality cameras, so when I start doing some other things. So thank you for that.
No problem. And a good vlogging camera is like a Sony. I think it's a Sony A series, A6000, I think.
86,000.
A6000. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah. And this has autofocus. That's one thing about like these types of cameras. Like my camera doesn't have video autofocus. And it's old camera. But now more newer cameras, they have the autofocus built in for video, for like vlogging. And the Sonys are real good. They do 4K, and you're just vlogging, so you don't have to worry about a lot of editing, or like in regards to color correcting. Set your profile and pretty much good to go. But when you get into what your son is doing, then you're gonna want something that you have a little bit more.
He has a whole setup at home, and he has a whole setup at home, and he has all the lights and cameras, and I'm like, wow. So I said, when I need a photo shoot or something like that, I can just say, okay, show me how to do this. But now that I know that you are the expert I'm definitely going to be using your services. I've seen your work, and
right.
you are an amazing photographer.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. But again, we just kind of want to come on back and welcome you because we really, really start to see in this business media world how being able to capture what's going on, is just vital, man, because it tells a story for those that are not there, right? And now that society's kind of opening up a little bit, trying to get on the backside of COVID. COVID's trying to pull us back into 2020. You know what I mean? It's a tug of war going on out there. You kind of see on social media more shots, man. Like I've never even seen this many. Every time you go on social media, somebody's posting, something, pictures, photography. I see it a lot now. I don't know if it's because I'm looking for sites and stuff like that, and the pixels are following me, but I'm just seeing it more and more. You know what I mean? Whereas from a business standpoint, people are actually capturing, certain events that are going on, because if people can't be there, they're doing live, but they're also doing, shots and things of that nature. And you see, and sometimes people, give you behind the scenes and you can see like 2 or 3 cameras set up, getting different angles and different shots. And it's like, wow, man, like all that is to portray and project like whatever it is that they're trying to convey. Right? So the people that are not there, like they can see it from different angles and still feel like they're actually there. Well, Ryan, as you know, we can go, you, me, and the boy. We can go, boy. We sit back, settle in, boy. We could go, but we only have a few minutes left for our listening audience, and for those that are, either just jumping on or didn't get a chance to hear the broadcast, make sure you do replay, because we really kind of dug into the importance of understanding how photography can help your business. Ryan shared a lot of tips. He shared a lot of things in terms of equipment, tools, things for you guys to research. Like he said, YouTube could be your best friend. But go ahead and get out there, lean into it, right? If you feel that it's a gift that you have, or if you just need assistance, we're gonna let Ryan, close this out in a minute here. But still photography is not going anywhere because it captures the moment and the essence of what your client is trying to say. So Nadira, and then we let Ryan close us out.
Well, I wanted to thank each and every one of you that watch us every Sunday and have been watching us since we started our first program. If you have enjoyed our broadcast and you want to figure out how to get photography and what equipment, or if you want to even book Ryan for a photo shoot or videography, make sure you look at the information at the bottom of the screen. You can reach him on Facebook at Ryan.Warwick, the @ Ryan.Warwick, or you can reach him at thinkoutsideTheBoxMedia.com.
Cool. Ryan, go ahead and let them know how to contact you, or whatever else you want to let them know. It's on you.
I was gonna say thanks for having me, and just to echo what Thomas stated, whether if it's something that you're looking to get into, or if it's you need the services, and if it's me or who it's anybody else, is make sure you ask questions, right? Hopefully what we discussed tonight to kind of put a little bug in the air. You wrote some notes down, and whenever you need services such as photography, you know what to look for, right? You may go out and do some research because you're armed now. You got some information, so you go do a little bit of research. You know what to look for, and then you got some questions to ask, right? So other than that, that's about it, man. She gave my website, thinkoutsideTheBoxMedia.com. Same Think Outside the Box Media is my Instagram, and Ryan.Warwick is my Facebook.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Great job. We got a little comment there. Did you see that comment?
Yes, we have 2 comments. One from Mick Williams. It says, well said, in response to our discussion about purpose. And we have Yolanda Owens. I almost said Yolanda Adams. And she said, this was very interesting. Thank goodness for it all. Thank you both for responding.
Thank you.
And watching us. We appreciate it. All right. So, Ryan, do you have any other final words before we actually end the broadcast? We are at our time. We always
just say thanks for having me on, and
awesome. And thank you guys for watching us also. We'll see you on next Sunday at 7 p.m. Oh, and don't forget, we have to talk about Thomas Taylor. If you need a visionary coach, make sure you visit TaylorYourDreams.com. You can also reach me. I'm an inspirational life and business coach. You can reach me at www.nadiralewis.com. And we will see you next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. We look forward to our next guest here on Dinner with the Coaches. Have a great evening.
I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again. I pray the Lord that I wake. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again. I pray the Lord that I wake.